All right, welcome to the CS Roundup with Russell and Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hey, how you doing, Russell?
I'm pretty good, thank you. So today our topic is should CS leaders use templates? And I thought maybe we could just make sure that we're talking about the same thing. What is a template to you for a CS leader?
Um, Unnecessary? So no, templates. So I think the easiest way to explain a template is like if you're using an email template, right? Like it has like everything written out, and then you're just going to change a few words here and there, sort of fill in the blanks, right? So a template is more than just a base structure. It's like it fills in like you're going to do X and then it explains X and Y and then Z. Like it goes into detail, but allows you to sort of tweak it. That to me is a template. It's not a particularly specific definition. It's just sort of an example definition. Do you have
Right.
anything like, did you look anything up in the dictionary or how do you think of it?
No, I didn't look anything up in the dictionary. I didn't think I was going to give a commencement address, but I did think about what a template would be for a CS leader, and I thought a template could be things like a trending annual goal workbook or
Okay.
maybe a joint success plan that you would have your CSMs use. And I think it's good to organize your goals. I think a joint success plan in an enterprise segment is appropriate. Maybe at a higher volume segment, you drop the joint and it's just a success plan, and maybe you take some liberties to fill it out. But I do agree with what you're saying. I think that you can lock yourself into a box that gets way too rigid. And I
Yeah.
think we've all received that really lame marketing email where the whole thing
Yeah.
is in lowercase except the variable fields are in uppercase, and it doesn't make you feel good about that company or that vendor.
Yeah. And sometimes it just says dear first name.
Right.
where they
Right.
for, where it didn't work to actually fill in your name. Yeah, I see a lot of requests for templates out there. And I guess what I understand is if you are a leader and you want to see some examples of what other people are doing and you want to sort of share, perspectives, that fine. But to me, a template, people often ask for like playbook templates.
Hmm.
It's like a playbook template. The closest I can give you is, step one, blank, step two, blank, step three, blank. Because it entirely depends upon who your customer base is, what, is this, an intervention of some sort, or if it's, is it going to be all human interaction? Is it going to, is it automated in some way and it's going to trigger an email? Like, there's so many variables. Like, how do I give you a template for your playbooks? Plus, your playbooks are something that should be evolving over time where you're saying, okay, well, this is our policy on X. And so if a customer asks for, Y instead, what steps do you do to either say no to Y or to lead them towards X? Like that's I don't even then that sounds dumb because all I'm doing is saying X and Y, right? Uh,
Right. Well, I think you hit the key point, which is that you always have to iterate, you always have to
yeah,
test. And
yeah,
so if you spend too much time locking something in, that's not a great use of time.
yeah, yeah,
I will
yeah.
say, I'm glad to
And
hear
then,
you say
oh,
that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, someone recently said that a playbook should be a guide, not a step-for-step process. And I agree with that. Like, there's very few cases when you want it to be so specific, right? Like, it should be something that gives your team a guide towards things and resources,
Right.
Anyway, but sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I was happy to hear you say that you see a lot of requests for templates for playbooks. I
Hmm.
see a lot of requests for templates of customer journeys.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do
Yeah.
a Google image search for customer journey, you get so many visualizations, and so many of
Yeah.
them are just completely goofy. But if you're thinking about an actionable customer journey that's kind of a grid style, I mean, you'd have columns that represent your phases. I don't even think all vendors could count on having the
Right.
same phases. And then within the phases, you would have these different touch points. And someone might say, look, I just want the names of the phases and the names of the touch points, and then I could customize each one. But you might not have the same touch points. One vendor's
Oh, no,
onboarding would be completely different from another's.
there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be the
Right.
same touch points because you have completely different customer base and product life. We're all snowflakes out here. And so, I mean, so the whole point is you should have some sort of foundations. And to be fair, our courses, we often do give sort of templates to help people work through things like how to calculate, like your staff makeup, or even like there is a base structure and an example for, segmentation of your customer base or for your customer journey. But what do? We have a blank grid, and then we have an example of what it looks like for somebody when it's filled out. And that's
Right.
about the closest you can get to a template for a CS leader
Right.
is a blank grid of something, which is like what I said before. Step 1, blank. Step 2, blank. Step 3, blank.
Right. I think the answer we're arriving at is you can have a blank template, but you better have a methodology for how to fill it out.
Yeah, yeah, that's the whole point. Foundations, have good questions. That's what you need. You need to understand the foundations, and you need to understand like how to ask questions. And so then otherwise what you're really asking for is samples from each other and a way to like how do you structure it? And then think about like, is that how I want to structure it? And hopefully people are modifying and they're not just literally taking a playbook from someone else and using it, because how can that get them anywhere? I
Right.
don't know.
Well, I think this is a thumbs up to our customer success leadership community then, because anecdotally, what I observe leaders
Yeah,
helping leaders do, it's not here's what I came out with. Here was how I arrived at that, and here's how you could do it for you.
good. Well, it's nice if you see that. I don't see that in the questions when people are asking for it, but I do actually see that in all of the responses. And so, yeah. And I guess ultimately what I keep telling people to do is, read this book, read that book, read this book, read that book. Like, get
Right.
some foundations. So
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely.
CS leaders need templates. I think they need foundations.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the Success League way, which I agree with, that's why I'm here, is that it all flows downhill from segmentation.
Yep. Yeah. That's why we keep talking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right. Any
Cool.
other thoughts on templates?
No, I think we've killed it.
Okay.
It's
Well, then
done.
let's sign off and we'll talk
Stick
to
a
you
fork in
next
it.
time.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.